Daniel was 19 years old, the kind of person who blended into the background. He lived with his older sister Chloe, who had always been the opposite of him. Confident, popular, and unafraid to take up space. Where Daniel preferred video games and books, Chloe loved parties, fashion, and attention. One Friday night, Chloe invited a few friends over. Daniel didn't plan to join them, but somehow he got dragged into the living room. They teased him, lightheartedly at first, about being too serious, too quiet. Then one of Chloe's friends, with a mischievous smile, came up with an idea. Let's see what Daniel would look like as a girl. Everyone laughed. Daniel froze. He thought they were joking, but Chloe jumped on the idea. Come on, it'll be fun. Let's give him a makeover. Daniel shook his head, but the teasing grew louder, more insistent. Finally, backed into a corner and wanting them to stop, he gave in. He muttered, "Fine. Just make it quick." They sat him down in front of the mirror. His heart raced. He thought he'd look ridiculous, but Chloe and her friends took it seriously. Foundation, eyeliner, lipstick, a wig styled into soft curls. They pulled out one of Chloe's dresses, a fitted one she rarely wore, and helped him into it. When the heels slipped onto his feet, Daniel could hardly breathe. He avoided the mirror until they were done. And then Chloe turned his chair toward the reflection. What Daniel saw made his breath catch in his throat. He wasn't looking at the quiet boy he'd always been. The reflection staring back was softer, brighter, beautiful. His friends burst into laughter, but it faded into the background. Daniel couldn't tear his eyes away. It didn't feel like a joke anymore. It felt like seeing a part of himself for the very first time. Chloe, clearly enjoying herself, suggested Daniel come along to a small house party that evening, still dressed up. He tried to refuse, but she insisted. "No one will even know," she said. Against his better judgment, he agreed. When they arrived, Daniel was terrified. Every step in those heels felt like a spotlight, but something unexpected happened. People didn't laugh. They didn't point. Instead, strangers complimented him on his hair, his outfit, even his smile. And they weren't mocking. They were sincere. As the night went on, Daniel began to loosen up. He laughed, he danced a little, and for the first time in his life, he felt noticed. Not as Chloe's quiet little brother, but as someone new, someone radiant. When a girl leaned over and whispered, "You're gorgeous," Daniel's heart skipped. He didn't correct her. He didn't want to. When he got home, Daniel expected the feeling to fade. He thought he'd laugh it off and go back to his old self. But when he changed out of the dress, something felt wrong, like shedding a skin that fit better than his own. The next morning, he caught himself glancing toward Chloe's closet. And late at night, when no one was awake, he started sneaking in, slipping on dresses, skirts, even just holding the reflection in the mirror for as long as he dared. Each time, the shame battled with a strange, powerful happiness. He didn't know what it meant yet. He only knew that when he was dressed that way, he felt more like himself than ever before. One night, Chloe walked in on him. He froze, panic rushing through him. But instead of teasing, Chloe sat beside him quietly. After a moment, she said, "You know, I don't think this is just a game for you." Daniel swallowed hard, unable to answer. Chloe smiled softly and added, "And that's okay." With Chloe's support, Daniel began exploring this side of himself more openly. He tried makeup in daylight, not just in secret. He wore clothes that matched how he felt inside. He researched stories online, realizing he wasn't alone. Slowly, Daniel began to understand that what he felt wasn't just curiosity. It was recognition. One evening, he told Chloe he wanted to choose a name. She encouraged him. After flipping through a notebook of ideas, one stood out. Danielle. The moment he said it aloud, it felt like coming home. From then on, Danielle practiced introducing herself in the mirror. She walked differently, smiled differently, and each time it felt more natural. There were challenges, of course. Fear of what others might think, fear of rejection. But Danielle no longer felt trapped. For the first time, she could breathe. Over time, Danielle found more people who accepted her. Chloe's friends welcomed her as if she had always been there. At gatherings, she was no longer the shy boy in the corner. She was Danielle, bright and confident. Strangers who once overlooked Danielle now lit up when Danielle entered the room. She realized that what began as a dare wasn't a mask at all. It wasn't pretend. It was freedom. It was truth. And every step forward brought her closer to the person she had always meant to be.